Emily Carter stood at the entrance of the small white church, her heart beating fast as the wedding music began to play. Sunlight poured through the open doors behind her, touching the soft lace of her dress, while rows of guests turned in their seats to see her for the first time. This was supposed to be the happiest moment of her life. Everything had been planned perfectly. Yet, in the very next second, something happened that no one had expected. As Emily took her first step forward, a sudden movement cut across the aisle. Rex, her police dog and partner of 6 long years, rushed in front of her and stopped. He planted himself firmly on the red carpet, right between Emily and the path leading to the altar. His large body blocked the way completely. The music slowly faded as confusion spread through the church. Emily froze. Rex was trained, disciplined, and calm in every situation. He had faced danger without fear, followed commands without hesitation, and never caused a scene. But now, he refused to move. When Emily softly called his name, Rex did not respond the way he always did. Instead, he sat down, his ears low, his eyes locked on her face. Whispers filled the room. Guests leaned toward each other, unsure whether to smile or worry. Some thought it was a sweet interruption. Others sensed something was wrong. The groom took a step forward, but Rex let out a low sound, not a growl, but something closer to a warning. Emily's breath caught in her throat. Her hands began to shake as she looked down at Rex. There was something different in his eyes. They were not playful. They were not stubborn. They were filled with urgency and pain. A deep silence fell over the church, heavy and uncomfortable. Emily knelt down in her wedding dress, ignoring the hundreds of eyes watching her. She placed her hands on Rex's head, feeling his warm fur beneath her fingers. Her heart sank. This was not disobedience. This was not a mistake. Deep inside, Emily felt a sudden, sharp fear. Something was very wrong, and Rex was trying to tell her, even if it meant stopping her wedding completely. Emily Carter was not only a bride standing in a white dress that day. She was also a police officer who had spent more than a decade serving her city with courage and discipline. From night patrols in quiet streets to dangerous calls that came without warning, Emily had seen the hardest sides of life. Her job had taught her to stay calm under pressure, but it had also shown her how fragile life could be. Rex entered her life 5 years into her service. He was young, strong, and full of energy when they were first paired together in the K-9 unit. At the beginning, building trust was not easy. Training was long and demanding. They learned each other's signals, movements, and emotions. Slowly, a deep bond formed between them. Rex was not just a dog following commands. He was a partner who watched her back when danger was close. Together, they chased suspects through dark alleys, searched for missing children, and stood guard during tense situations. More than once, Rex had saved Emily's life by sensing danger before she could. When she was exhausted or scared, Rex stayed by her side, steady and loyal. Over the years, he became her constant companion, both on duty and off duty. To Emily, Rex was more than a police dog. He was family. He was there when long shifts ended in silence, when bad days followed her home, and when words failed. She talked to him when no one else could understand. He listened without judgment and stayed without question. That was why his behavior in the church was so frightening. Rex had been trained to remain calm in crowds, loud noises, and emotional moments. He had never ignored her commands before. Never. Seeing him block her path, shaking slightly and refusing to move, made her chest tighten with fear. Emily knew Rex better than anyone. If he was acting this way, it meant something serious was happening. This was not a playful act or a mistake. This was the dog who had protected her for years, now standing in her way for a reason she was only beginning to fear. Rex's body began to tremble slightly as he sat in front of Emily, his breathing uneven and heavy. His strong chest moved faster than normal, and a soft whine escaped his throat. It was a sound Emily had only heard a few times before, usually after long, dangerous missions. It was the sound of pain mixed with fear. His tail, which normally wagged proudly, lay still against the floor. Emily tried to steady her voice as she gave a gentle command, the same one Rex had followed hundreds of times before. "Rex, move aside." Her words echoed softly through the church. Rex did not respond. He did not even shift his weight. His eyes stayed locked on hers, wide and glossy, as if he was holding on to her with everything he had left. A quiet tension filled the room. The guests stopped whispering. The music had completely ended. Everyone could feel that this was no longer a small interruption. Something serious was unfolding in front of them. The groom looked helpless, unsure whether to step closer or stay back. Emily slowly knelt down again, her knees pressing into the carpet. She cupped Rex's face in her hands, her thumbs brushing under his eyes. That was when she felt it. His body was hot, and his heartbeat was racing far too fast. Her training as an officer told her something was wrong, but her heart already knew. Rex leaned into her touch, letting out another soft sound, almost like a sigh. His strength seemed to fade for a moment, and Emily had to support his head against her chest. Tears filled her eyes as memories rushed back. All the times Rex had protected her. All the times he had placed himself between her and danger. Suddenly, it became clear. Rex was not trying to stop the wedding out of confusion or fear of the crowd. He was trying to tell her something important. This was his way of speaking when he could not use words. He was asking for help. Or maybe he was saying goodbye. A wave of concern spread through the church. A few fellow officers stood up, recognizing the signs. Someone quietly suggested calling for medical help. The wedding was no longer the focus. Every plan, every tradition, faded into the background. Emily held Rex closer, her heart breaking with every breath he struggled to take. The ceremony had stopped, but something far more important was happening. Whatever Rex was trying to tell her, she knew she had to listen, no matter what it meant for this day. The heavy doors of the church opened quietly as emergency help finally arrived. A veterinarian from the police department and a paramedic moved quickly down the aisle, their faces serious as they knelt beside Emily and Rex. The church was completely silent now. No one spoke. No one moved. All eyes were fixed on the small circle around the bride and her dog. The veterinarian gently examined Rex, checking his breathing, his heart, and his eyes. Emily watched every movement, her hands never leaving Rex's fur. After a few long moments, the veterinarian looked up, her expression filled with sadness. She spoke softly, but her words felt loud in Emily's ears. Rex was critically ill. An undetected condition had been quietly growing inside him, and now his body was failing. There was nothing that could be done to stop it. Emily felt the world tilt around her. The truth hit her harder than any moment she had faced in her career. Rex had known something was wrong long before anyone else. On this day, with what little strength he had left, he had followed her one last time. He had blocked her path not out of fear, but out of love. He needed her. He wanted one final moment with the person he trusted most. Tears streamed down Emily's face as she pressed her forehead against Rex's. She whispered his name again and again, her voice breaking. The groom knelt beside her, placing a steady hand on her back, his own eyes filled with tears. In that moment, the wedding, the guests, and the decorations no longer mattered. Around them, the guests were overwhelmed with emotion. Some covered their mouths in shock. Others openly cried. Fellow officers stood in silence, their heads bowed, understanding the loss of a true hero. Rex's breathing slowed as he rested against Emily, calm now, as if he knew he was safe. The love in that church was heavy and painful, but also pure. Rex had done what he had always done best. He had protected Emily, even on the day meant to be about her happiness. And with his final strength, he had made sure she would never forget how deep true loyalty can run. Rex passed away quietly in Emily's arms, his body finally relaxing as his breathing faded into stillness. There was no struggle, no fear. His head rested against her chest, and his eyes closed as if he were falling into a deep, peaceful sleep. Emily did not move. She held him close, rocking slightly, her tears falling onto his fur. In that moment, time seemed to stop. The veterinarian gently confirmed what Emily already knew. Rex was gone. A deep silence filled the church, broken only by soft sobs from the guests. The fellow officers stepped forward and formed a line. One by one, they raised their hands in a salute, honoring not just a police dog, but a hero who had served with courage and loyalty. Rex was carefully wrapped in a blanket, treated with the same respect given to any officer who had fallen in duty. Later that day, after the church had emptied and emotions had settled, Emily and her groom made a quiet decision. The wedding would continue, but without music or celebration. Just love. Just meaning. They stood together before a small group of close family and friends, speaking their vows softly. Rex's collar was placed beside them, a silent reminder of the bond that had shaped Emily's life. In the days that followed, Emily thought often about what Rex had taught her. Love was not always loud or joyful. Sometimes, love meant standing in someone's way to protect them. Sometimes, it meant giving everything without asking for anything in return. Rex had done that from the very beginning until his final breath. Emily understood now why Rex had stopped her that day. He did not want to be forgotten in the rush of happiness. He wanted to be close, one last time. And he wanted her to know that their bond would never truly end. As Emily moved forward into her new life, she carried Rex with her, not in uniform or on a leash, but in her heart. True love, she realized, never leaves. It stays in memories, in lessons, and in the quiet strength that remains long after goodbye.